easier, more enjoyable, and more rewarding as time goes on.
I think this video is full of... Greetings everyone, Sunrostern here. As you may know, I'm working on a series of different ideas on how to make $100,000 10 times so that you can attain a net worth of $1 million, which is the goal of this YouTube channel, to help 1,000 individuals to become millionaires. And I was browsing YouTube to see what other YouTubers think about making the first $100,000, and I stumbled upon a video by Chris Invests, why the first $100,000 is the hardest or so hard. Well, it has over 1.2 million views, and I thought it would be interesting to watch this video, but not just watch it, but to record a reaction to it. And I hope that you enjoy.
Charlie Munger, famous billionaire investor and vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, believes that the first $100,000 is the hardest to amass. It's not just him, though.
I think that the quote was, the context was, he was at a conference or a shareholder meeting in the 90s, and one of the persons in the audience asked about the first 100,000. And Charlie Munger said, first 100,000 is a bitch. And if you have to live very frugally and save money, eat rice and beans, do whatever it takes to get to that checkpoint, $100,000, and then the rest will be much easier. So
many people who have grown their wealth believe this to be true, and the same thing is often said about achieving the first million. Once you reach $100,000, the next one tends to come much more quickly. Before you know it, you have $200,000, $300,000, and $400,000. Then, once you hit the $1 million mark, the second one is right around the corner, and it seems to take a fraction of the time as the first.
I mean, it does become easier to get to next checkpoints, but I'm interested in his substantiation.
This is reassuring for those of us that feel like their wealth is growing slower than they'd like, but why exactly does it get easier? Let's see why it takes a disproportionately long time to reach the $100,000 mark and discuss some things you can do to speed up this process so you become wealthy years sooner. My name is Chris, and I help teach people about money, personal finance, and investing.
Hi, Chris.
If you're interested in improving your financial future, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this video is helpful. One obstacle many face is the process of actually beginning to invest. Investing can seem like a low priority, and it continually gets pushed to the back burner. Before you know it, you're scratching your head wondering how you're going to retire. How many people do you know that would start investing if only they had more money?
I think that it doesn't matter how much money you make. It is a very good habit to always save up a certain portion of your income. That is the money that will launch you into the investment habit.
When they start making more money, they'll invest. Saying you'll invest when you have more money is like saying you'll put wood on a fire just as soon as it starts producing heat.
Yeah.
You don't invest because you have too much money, you invest because you want more money. Risk is also a common excuse. Most of us know a coworker or friend that has reasoned that investing is too risky, so they avoid it entirely. As is the case with many things in life, taking the first step is the hardest. When the finish line seems so far away, it's easy to push something off to sometime in the future.
Well, with the inverse logic, say if you put the question in reverse, if you don't invest and if you don't get to that certain financial goal, would that be not riskier to you in your circumstances than to have never taken this opportunity to invest into something? So in other words, it is risky to invest, but it can be riskier not to invest and then miss out on the opportunities.
Achieving the first $100,000 requires you to do the heavy lifting, meaning the majority of your money needs to be personally contributed by you. Once your portfolio reaches a sizable amount, compound interest begins to work wonders. Even though the returns as a percentage don't necessarily increase, the returns in dollar amounts become much larger. For example, if a $5,000 investment earns a 10% return in 1 year, that's only $500 and it's hardly noticeable. $500 could easily be made just working a few extra hours once in a while, and when thought of in this way, can seem insignificant. When a $100,000 investment earns a 10% return, that's $10,000, and that's a great start to replacing your salary. Once it reaches $1 million, a 10% annual return is $100,000.
Now, I think this is a very simplistic model because it assumes that you can consistently make a 10% return annual, where in real life it's just not true. It is really difficult to find an investment vehicle that will consistently return you 10%. Of course, if you take the average, then the model can work out, but individuals have certain circumstances and certain goals within a time frame. They cannot just invest and forget. They will need the money to accommodate certain life events, such as purchasing some assets or traveling or what have you. And especially in the recent year, 2022, last year, we have seen that a lot of the investments were, well, not wiped out, but greatly reduced in their value. So a lot of the interest and gain that people have accumulated over the past years had been wiped out. So this model works in the perfect world of no turbulence, but of course turbulence happens. So I think this is a very simplistic model for real life.
That's a large amount that is much more than many people earn at their jobs, and seeing this huge growth is exciting. People say that when their portfolio gets to be worth $100,000, they can really notice the progress of their investments.
So in an example of the last year, if you had 100K in your investments, the market would go down by about 30%. Then you would only be left with 70,000 out of 100,000. So forget about the growth. And especially when people are at a retirement age and their assets go down that much, 15 to 30%, that is not, that hurts their prospects, and certainly puts some pressure on their lifestyle expectations.
Once the snowball gets rolling, the rate at which it grows accelerates. Is your portfolio
Now, on the other hand, we've seen a lot of gradual rate hikes by the Federal Reserve, which means that the banks and financial institutions are now returning some interest on your investment into savings vehicles or cash accounts. Before it used to be like insignificant, close to 0%. Now you can see companies offering 3 or 4% annual return on your cash accounts, such as Wealthfront or Betterment and others. So with that, you can adjust this compound model by inserting, instead of 10%, 3 or 4%. But I think in the coming quarters, as the Federal Reserve reduces the rate, then of course the banks and financial institutions will be reducing their interest on the cash accounts. But of course, this model is very dynamic and you need to adjust accordingly.
grows to a large amount, the progress is extremely satisfying, and that excitement can speed up the process. Put another way, you'll begin looking for ways to grow your portfolio more quickly because the rewards are substantial. You might look for ways to increase your income so you can contribute more to these investments. You might also look for ways to earn better returns so the growth will accelerate. Instead of going out to eat and spending $100 in the matter of a couple of hours, you'll think twice. Realizing how powerful compound interest is will make you more carefully consider your purchases. This is because you'll realize how much that $100 will grow and continually reward you if it's invested, and it will be harder for you to part with.
Now that's an interesting point because, spending $100 on a nice dinner, it can be very unwise, especially in the context of the alternative of investing that $100 and then growing it. But on the other hand, what do you need that growth for? Say in 30 years it will be greatly multiplied, but at the same time you're living the life so that you can maximize experiences and spend time with the people you love and you care about. And those experiences can be assisted with by money, such as a nice dinner. So you have to always be thoughtful about whether to spend money now versus later. But I would say don't miss out on the opportunities today. Be frugal and be economical, but not to a point where you forfeit a lot of the stuff for a future where you would be doing the same stuff but in a different season. I would say cherish the season today and be wise for the future as well.
For example, you spend $100 on a meal out and that money is gone forever. If you had invested that money, it could reward you $10 the first year it's invested, $11 the next year, and $12 the next. Of course, $100 isn't a large amount of money, but it's the habit of saving $100 in different categories on a regular basis that will add up. As you become wealthier, you have more options, and this will become more and more obvious. When you have $100,000 saved, there are many things you can do that someone living paycheck to paycheck cannot. If you have the opportunity to take another job with a potentially higher income or more room for improvement, but the pay isn't steady, you have the savings to take that risk. Your job might pay $50,000 per year, but an opportunity arises that's likely to pay $100,000 or more per year, but it's commission only. If you need that $50,000 paycheck, taking this type of risk isn't practical. Maybe you've always wanted to start a business and have never had the capital or money to fall back on. The new business could make you millions of dollars, but if you can't begin, it's a lost opportunity. Perhaps an amazing opportunity presents itself in real estate. You have the chance to purchase a home way below market value, but it's going to be a big risk. When you have money saved up, this might be a risk worth taking. While it's not always ideal to cash out your investments, the fact is that you at least have the option if you need to, or if a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity presents itself.
Yes, with a certain level of capital, not only you have the savings for the immediate to short term when it comes to emergency fund, but also the lending institutions can look at your assets and say, well, since you have 100,000, we're willing to loan you money, and against that collateral, for example, if you have a brokerage account, they can loan you up to write you a loan of, say, 30% of your portfolio against your assets, which is about $30,000. And so that gives you more options on how to manage your money and invest with leverage. But you have to be very careful about the leverage. Of course, those are hypothetical scenarios and not a financial advice, just observations about how a certain threshold of capital gives you more options on how to invest money and how to use it, and improve your odds at generating more wealth.
Someone who has only a little bit of money saved is so much more limited in what they can do.
Yeah.
Adding to the idea of being able to take advantage of more opportunities, when you have more money, you can take on more risk with your investments. If you see potential in a stock, it's easy to be more speculative when you have extra money, and it's not going to ruin you financially if that investment doesn't work out. You'll hopefully still have other investments. A friend of yours could present an opportunity to invest in a new business venture, and you're not going to go broke if it doesn't work out. Someone with little money saved doesn't have the option to invest in something like this. If you're still working on the $100,000 milestone, there are some ways to speed up the process. Since the majority of these funds are going to be money you personally contributed, you need to focus on increasing the amount you're saving. This will be the best way that you can accelerate the process. In order to save more money on a regular basis, you need to increase your income. This could be done either with another job on the weekends or a couple of nights per week where that extra cash can be deposited directly into savings. Consider starting a side business that would bring in some extra income. Be careful when spending on unnecessary items. Do you really want to spend $100 on dinner out, or would you rather reserve that for special occasions and save more money instead? Remember, Watching pennies like this is only temporary until you reach your goal and you can ease up a little bit.
And as Benjamin Franklin, penny saved is a penny earned. Pretty nifty phrase.
Stay away from large car payments for vehicles that are simply unnecessary, as these expenses are common reasons people never reach $100,000, never mind $1 million. Once you become familiar with the process of saving and investing, it will be easier to just continue doing what you're doing. By the time you obtain a substantial amount of money, you'll be used to finding ways to earn extra money and put that into savings. You'll also be used to being more deliberate with your purchases and really think whether or not they're necessary or if it would be more rewarding to put it into savings. Furthermore, you'll be comfortable with taking risk in the process of investing through different market cycles, and you might even learn how to take full advantage of them. Once you reach the $100,000 mark, you can let off the gas a little, according to Charlie Munger. Although the first million is the next milestone, it becomes easier as the majority of your investments will likely be the result of compound interest, instead of money you need to personally go out and earn. Next time you're stressed about the difficulty of increasing your net worth, know that it becomes easier, more enjoyable, and more rewarding as time goes on.
I think this video is full of very nice generalized principles to follow and consider for your circumstances. Because of course, every individual has their own circumstances, goals, desires. Still, being frugal with your expenditures, not spending money on the stuff you don't really need, is generally a good advice. So I think this is a good overview of why the first 100,000 is hard, and why pretty much everyone needs to get to achieve this threshold as soon as possible. So what did you think of that video? Did you have questions or ideas that you'd like to share? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video format, please click the like button and subscribe for future series. And I hope you have a great day. Till next time. See ya.